This is a national emergency.
Detonator charged.
A year has passed since Christopher Nolan brought us his 180-minute epos about, according to him, the most important man who ever lived to the big screen. 4 days lie between July 16th, when the first atomic bomb exploded, and July 20th, when Oppenheimer celebrated its premiere. Between this July 20th, 2023 and today lies a tour of events, awards, culminating in Nolan's coronation at the Academy Awards 2023.
Well, remember this day.
Nolan's Oppenheimer has not only impressed critics and audiences alike, but has also sparked a broad discussion about the complex figure of J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in history.
How about because this is the most important fucking thing to ever happen in the history of the world? How about that?
Oppenheimer, a man whose brilliant scientific contributions and moral dilemmas changed the world forever, is portrayed by Nolan's film as a multi-layered personality, a genius who must bear the burden of his own creation.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves.
This idea is derived from the main source of inspiration for the film, the man who gave fire to mankind and was punished for it for eternity. This is how Nolan saw J. Robert Oppenheimer, a messiah figure in American Prometheus. In Nolan's interpretation of Oppenheimer, the story of the American Prometheus unfolds like a modern myth. Inspired by the book by Kai Bird and Martin J. Sherwin, Nolan uses the first frame to paint a picture of a man whose intellectual brilliance and moral ambiguity led humanity into a new era, but also cast dark shadows. American Prometheus therefore becomes not just a title, but a central motif in Nolan's work.
I'm teaching something no one here has dreamt of. But once people start hearing what you can do with it, there's no going back.
An allegory for Oppenheimer's role as the creator of a powerful yet dangerous technology that changed the world forever. Like Prometheus from Greek mythology, who brought fire to mankind and was punished by the gods for it, Oppenheimer brought the knowledge of nuclear power, which is perceived as both a blessing and a curse.
Who on the team could be trusted?
No one is leaving Los Alamos.
What are you doing?
This duality characterizes the entire narrative structure of the film.
You are the man who gave them the power to destroy themselves.
In this portrayal, biographical facts merge with mythological elements to create a captivating portrait of a man who has gone down in history as both a hero and a tragic figure. Nolan's cinematic narrative clearly sets itself apart from conventional biopics by using a complex structure to illustrate the different perspectives and time levels.
We were in a race against the Nazis.
Now the race is against the Soviets.
Not unless we started.
Robert, they just fired the starting gun.
Despite every seemingly atypical decision Nolan makes, Louis Strauss, played by Robert Downey Jr., embodies a classic antagonist to Oppenheimer.
Mr. Strauss.
It's pronounced Strauss.
Even though they are never in direct conflict at any point in the movie itself.
I know J. Robert Oppenheimer, and if he could do it all over, he'd do it all the same. You know he's never once said that he regrets Hiroshima? He'd do it all over. Why? Because it made him the most important man.
Their disagreement over the responsibility that the success of the Manhattan Project entailed is portrayed in contrasting ways in the halls of Washington's political power struggle.
And if the Russians know about it already from a spy at Los Alamos, then we've got to get going.
There's no proof there was a spy at Los Alamos.
Strauss sees the atomic bomb as a tool for maintaining power and deterrence, while Oppenheimer is increasingly plagued by ethical concerns and the catastrophic consequences of the nuclear arms race.
We might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world.
To contrast Strauss and Oppenheimer, what Oppenheimer experienced subjectively before during and after the Manhattan Project, and the objective perspective of Louis Strauss, Nolan uses a filmic structure that alternates between black and white and color shots, similar to Memento. The black and white shots symbolize the objective, distance view of Strauss and the political stage, while the color sequences reflect Oppenheimer's personal experiences and inner world.
Our bodies, mostly empty space. Groupings of tiny energy waves bound together.
Nolan already made this atypical decision in the script construction. All the scenes in color are written in first person, which opens up a more personal and subjective perspective on Oppenheimer's experiences. This first-person narrative reinforces the feeling of being directly immersed in Oppenheimer's world of thought and experiences his moral struggles at first hand.
Nobody knows what you believe.
If we take an objective view on the events, Nolan switches back to a classic third-person narration. This change of perspective allows the viewer to better understand the deep contradictions and complexity of the characters.
I gave him exactly what he wanted. To be remembered for Trinity. Not Hiroshima. Not Nagasaki.
The particular narrative approach can also be applied to the structure of the entire film, which is divided into several clearly defined chapters, with each chapter highlighting a different phase in Oppenheimer's life and work. At the center of Nolan's narrative is the Trinity test, the first nuclear test in human history, which ushered in a new era of science and global power politics.
Where it looked like the chain reaction from the atomic device might never stop. Are we saying there's a chance that when we push that button, we destroy the world? Chances are near zero. Near zero. What do you want from theory alone? Zero would be nice.
Nolan structures the film in such a way that it combines various genre elements in order to illustrate the multi-layered aspects of Oppenheimer's life and work. The title Trinity serves not only as a reference to this particular moment or the Christian threefoldness, but also as a metaphor for the three-part structure of the film, which depicts Oppenheimer's life and work in 3 acts. The first act of the film is designed as a chalkboard picture. It portrays Oppenheimer's early life and his scientific development.
I'm teaching something no one here has dreamt of. But once people start hearing what you can do with it, there's no going back.
This phase is characterized by intellectual breakthroughs and a passion for quantum physics, which ultimately led him to the head of the Manhattan Project.
I have a 12-month head start. 18. How could you possibly know that?
Although the Trinity test itself serves as a dramatic climax and a metaphor for the fusion of science and destiny, it is not the end of the story, but is merely at the end of the second act.
In exactly 1 hour, 58 minutes, we'll know.
Nolan stages the preparation for the test like a heist movie, in which Oppenheimer assembles a team of scientists and military to achieve the seemingly impossible.
You can't do in your head.
Let's go recruit some scientists.
If we don't let scientists bring their families, we'll never get the best.
These sequences are characterized by tension and urgency, reflecting the enormous pressure and uncertainty of the time.
I don't know if we can be trusted with such a weapon, but I know the Nazis can't.
In parallel, the aftermath of the Manhattan Project unfolds in the form of a courtroom drama that examines the political and moral consequences of the use of nuclear weapons.
You felt your judgment was sound on who on the team could be trusted.
These scenes illuminate the ethical dilemmas and political opportunism that overshadow Oppenheimer's legacy.
I gave him exactly what he wanted. To be remembered for Trinity. Not Hiroshima. Not Nagasaki. He should be thanking me.
While this 3-part structure captures the complexity and moral gray areas of Oppenheimer's life, it also leads us to the deeper insights that Nolan's film provides about the father of the atomic bomb. The journey ends not only with an analysis of Oppenheimer's work and its consequences, but opens our eyes to the broad lessons and continuing relevance of his story for the present and the future. Nolan's Oppenheimer leaves the audience with a sense of thoughtfulness and deeper understanding of the human and moral challenges that come with scientific progress.
Been a plutonium implosion device.
Like the one you built at Los Alamos. The Russians have a bomb. Truman needs to know what's next.
What's next? Arms talks.
Arms talks.
Obviously.
The portrayal of J. Robert Oppenheimer as both a shining hero and a tragic figure reflects the ambiguity experienced by many pioneers of science and technology.
Until somebody builds a bigger one.
They are celebrated for their contributions and at the same time burdened by the consequences of their discoveries. Oppenheimer, despite his extraordinary intelligence and scientific genius, ultimately became a figure who was manipulated and betrayed by the political and social powers of his time.
No.
Because if it can put us ahead again, the President of the United States needs to know about it. And if the Russians know about it already from a spy at Los Alamos, then we gotta get going.
There's no proof there was a spy at Los Alamos.
Robert.
The Academy Award win is not only a tribute to Nolan's directing skills, but also to his ability to make profound and complex themes accessible to a broad audience. Oppenheimer is therefore not only a cinematic masterpiece, but also an important cultural reflection that highlights the responsibility and ethical implications of scientific progress.
Why would we go to the middle of nowhere for who knows how long?
Why?
The commercial success of the film also underlines its cultural and artistic value. Oppenheimer has achieved impressive box office results worldwide and proven that sophisticated and profound films can also reach a wide audience. This financial success not only secures Nolan's position as one of the leading directors of our time, but also confirms the importance of blockbuster films in cinema.
You keep me informed.
As best I can.
The world will remember this day.
So, how does Oppenheimer portray the man who changed the world? A visionary scientist, overwhelmed by the possibilities and the dangers of his own discoveries, and a man suffering under the weight of his moral responsibility. Oppenheimer is portrayed as someone who can be both celebrated as a hero and understood as a tragic figure.
3, 2, 1.
With Oppenheimer, Nolan shows that the stories of those who changed the world must be retold and understood again and again in order to grasp their true meaning.